Hi, Sarah. How are you doing
Hi,
today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for coming back and joining me. We are on our third session so far. I know the first session we kind of just got to know each other a little bit, kind of just went over some basic information, and then the last time we met, I know I did like the anxiety screening on you, because I know that's something you have been struggling with lately, and that kind of just helped me gain some insight as to kind of, kind of like our treatment plan and what we could be doing and how I could be helping you more. Um, so first, I just kind of want to start off by asking you how the past few weeks have been since we've met, and kind of what's been going on, how you're feeling, if things are getting better or worse, or kind of where your head's at.
I feel like things have been pretty good. Nothing has escalated, hasn't gotten better per se, but it hasn't gotten worse. Um, yeah.
Okay, cool. How are things with school and your job and living at home?
School's better. My grades improved. Um, I'm participating more. I feel like I have a little bit more energy to do my schoolwork. Um, I'm working out regularly and trying to like make sure I get enough sleep. And I'm also getting along with my family a little bit more.
Great. These are
Yeah.
all great, awesome things. How are things like on the relationship front? I mean, I know last time we spoke, like you guys weren't really speaking, you were here and there, and it's not something you wanted to entertain or ever go back to, but kind of how are you feeling, going through a breakup can be a complicated process. Some days we feel great and we're like on top of the world and like we think we've conquered it. And then even weeks later, after we feel like we've maybe not, after we feel like we've gotten past it and kind of hit us again. So I know it can kind of be like a wave of emotions. So, kind of, how are things on that front?
Pretty good. I haven't talked to him and I think I feel sad every now and then, but not entirely. Um, it's a little bit less. Yeah. Um, yeah, not too bad.
Perfect. I mean, I think, we don't ever want to like grieve those emotions if we don't have to, but I kind of just, encourage you to kind of like take things as they come. If you wake up in the morning and you're kind of feeling more sad about it than you were even like 2 weeks ago, and you kind of, like I said, feel like you've got past it, I would just encourage you to kind of take those things as they come because it's very natural, and don't beat yourself up. Don't feel like you're going backwards or losing progress or backtracking if you have a few bad days or even a bad week. Like, it's just kind of all a part of the healing process. And honestly, I tell people, that's like the healthy way of doing it too. I think sometimes when we bottle things up too much and we don't feel them, or we don't just like let ourselves have a bad day or cry if we need to or whatever, then we're not really feeling our emotions.
Mhm.
And, especially something like a breakup with someone that was as a big a part of your life as your boyfriend was. I think it's only natural that those things are going to come, but it's great
Yeah.
that you're able to still take care of yourself and focus on school and work and all that stuff.
Yeah.
um, how are things on like the friend front and kind of making connections and relationships? Have you joined any like groups or anything at school or anything like that?
I haven't really joined any groups or anything. I'm talking to some girls who are in the same classes as me, and that has been nice to get to know some people at the same who are experiencing the same um or having the same experiences. It's a harder look because I'm a little older than them, but it's hard not to compare, but I'm trying my best not to. But it's nice to have people who I get along with.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I would just encourage you to keep making those connections and, just kind of see where they go. It doesn't have to turn into lifelong friendships, but if you never know how things kind of form and whatever. So I just kind of, regardless of age, just kind of encourage you to keep your mind open to things and situations. You never know how things pan out.
Right.
How has your anxiety been over the past few weeks? Are you feeling more anxious, less anxious? And what are some things that maybe you have done or not done that you feel like have helped or not helped?
I feel like it's reduced a little bit. I feel like I'm not experiencing it as much as I was. I think certain things can definitely bring up a little bit more anxiety, anything that has to do with any sort of conflict or that increases my anxiety, or if I don't get enough sleep, um if something kind of goes wrong, stuff like that will increase my anxiety, but I feel like I've been managing a little bit better, to help prevent those things from happening. Uh, so better, and like I said, the managing time management has been helpful. Making sure I have my meals ready for the week and easy meals and structured um, workouts is definitely helping me to reduce the anxiety that I have if it comes to like school, work not being turned in on time or yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think those are all great things. I think just in general, as people, I think if we're able to kind of stay on top of things before they kind of pile up and get too much, I think that's like when the stress normally hits, and then it can just be a lot harder to kind of manage those things. So it's great that you're kind of staying on top of things.
Mhm.
So basically, my personal recommendation for kind of how we're going to go about this treatment plan for tackling anxiety, um, since things have been improving and they seem like they're really headed in the right direction, I don't think we need to go drastic any drastic measures like medications or anything like that. We definitely don't need to go down that route, because I feel like you're already self managing it so well. Um, sometimes if things are really severe, I, would recommend like putting somebody on like a medication or like a support group, or kind of intervening a little bit harder, if it's really that bad where people maybe can't function or can't get out of bed or do this or that, the other. So, um, but yours is not the case, so that's really great. And you already seem to be, really self-managing and taking care of things, and being able to kind of help yourself, which is great. So kind of what I want to do, basically it's called like thought record. I kind of mentioned it before, but it's something that you do yourself and you keep track of. And we can talk about it the next time you come in and kind of see how it works. But basically the theory behind it is, one thing that kind of keeps our anxiety going and it is our thoughts and our feelings, and situations are all kind of connected. So, sometimes a situation happens and then our mind can kind of quickly jump um, to the next thing. And, um, whether it's like a scary thought or a negative thought, and, kind of makes the anxiety stronger. So,
Mhm.
basically, basically, the theory behind it is it's kind of just like a way to slow things down and kind of take a look at like what your mind's telling you in that moment. So the next time you kind of have an anxiety provoking thought, or you're not even maybe sure where it came from, or you just kind of sense it, basically you would just start out by writing down what happened, kind of what you're thinking, and then how you felt. Um, and then either together or separately on your own time, you can kind of take a step back and ask, like, is there anything that supports this thought, right? Like, is it just a thought that I'm having, or is it like real? Because sometimes our anxiety just provokes us to go from 0 to 100 really quick. So is there anything that kind of supports or challenges that thought? The goal really isn't to force like positive thinking, but it's just to kind of find a more balanced and realistic way of seeing the situation at hand. And then over time, the goal is that it basically helps reduce anxiety because your mind kind of learned it doesn't automatically have to assume like the worst case scenario. We don't have to jump from 0 to 100. Um, Really quick. So I don't know if that sounds like something that would maybe help you
Yeah.
or not. Okay,
Yeah, I could definitely try it.
cool. So what I have is I have like a template that I wrote up, and it kind of just goes through those 4 steps. So I'll email that over to you, and you can either use that if you like it. If not, don't use it. But basically, those are just the 3 things we want to look at. Like, what am I feeling? What is the evidence behind it? And then, kind of taking a step back and analyzing that thought as a whole. And you don't want to do those things right back to back. Like, write down what you're feeling, kind of take a little bit, then go back and kind of analyze it. There's just another way of kind of retraining our brain to think differently in different situations, and that you can kind of help lessen our anxiety over time. So I think that
Yeah.
might be something that'd be really helpful to you. So if you want to kind of work on that and keep track of it, and then next session we can just talk about it, and hopefully it was a good thing, and kind of go from there.
Cool. Yeah, I can do that.
Cool. Do you have any further questions before we stop?
Not right now, I don't.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you for joining me again, and I'll see you next week.
Thank you.